Every assassination contract I take on, the target dies in some bizarre way within 3 days. I try to explain to the pavilion over and over that none of this is actually my doing, but no one believes me. They treat me like the pavilion's secret weapon, and every impossible job no other assassin can pull off gets dumped straight onto my desk. And all this madness started the day I woke up in an ancient dynasty I'd never asked to visit. After I landed in this body, I was a frail scholar who failed the exams year after year, both my parents dead and dirt poor. With nowhere left to turn, I took the gamble and joined the assassin sect, the Netherworld Pavilion, as a bottom-rung rookie killer. While I'm still sorting through this body's memories, the dungeon's heavy iron door swings open. A woman in sleek black combat garb strides in. Time's up. The final selection begins now. She is the pavilion's gold-rank instructor, Willow. Behind her, her men haul in a long table. A row of scrolls sits neatly on top. These are bronze assassination orders. Each scroll bears the name of a target. A rookie's job is to take a scroll and kill that target with your own hands. Every target is a first-rate master, ferociously strong, and surrounded by guards. The moment she says it, every rookie in the room sucks in a sharp breath. This isn't a selection, it's a death sentence. Even Scarface, the strongest fighter among us, is only a third-rate fighter. Sending him after a first-rate master is basically asking him to die. Who's going first? Willow's icy gaze sweeps the room. The dungeon goes dead silent. No one dares move. Sweat beads on Scarface's forehead. He's vicious, sure, but he's not stupid. He knows taking this job means death. As for me, my legs turn to jelly. I'm shaking all over, just wanting to get as far from that table as possible. But the more scared I get, the less my body listens to me. My knees buckle and I pitch forward, completely out of control. Thud. I land face first, right in front of the long table. Panicking, I throw a hand out to catch myself, and it lands square on an open scroll. Dead silence fills the room. Every eye locks onto me. Scarface freezes for a second, then a gloating grin spreads across his face. What an idiot. Digging his own grave. This guy's done for. He actually picked the contract on the Bear King? Bruno's a first-rate master with a fearsome reputation. His body's trained hard enough that blades barely scratch him. What's this kid going to kill him with? His teeth? Ha ha ha. The jeering cuts into my ears like needles. My mind goes completely blank. I'm frozen in shock. I only tripped because my legs gave out. I never meant to take this contract. I open my mouth to explain, but the moment I meet Willow's icy stare, every word dies in my throat. To everyone's shock, there's no mockery in Willow's eyes. Instead, something sparks in them. In her mind, it's obvious. While everyone else cowers, I'm the only one who stepped forward, facing a certain death mission without a shred of hesitation. No ordinary person has that kind of nerve. Good. What nerve? Inside, I'm falling apart. I'm about to cry. Since you've taken the contract, it's yours now. You have 3 days. If the target doesn't die, you will. Right then, a mechanical voice chimes in my head. Ding. Player detected in a certain death situation. Activation conditions met. The absolute luck system is now online. Rookie quest issued. Complete the bronze assassination order. Target, the Bear King. First-rate master. Time limit, 72 hours. Reward, 1 rookie reward pack. Failure penalty, termination. Before I can even process it, 2 men in black haul me up by the arms and drag me out of the dungeon. The cold night wind hits me, and I shiver, finally coming back to my senses a little. I grip the dull blade in my hand, staring at the 4 words on the scroll. The Bear King. I want to cry, but no tears come. This so-called luck system just showed up out of nowhere, and I can't see a shred of hope in this. The 72-hour countdown has officially started. If I can't kill the Bear King in 3 days, I'm the one who dies. I'm just a scholar who can't even hold a blade steady. There's no way I can kill a first-rate master that blades can't even pierce. I stumble forward, clutching my dull blade in despair, like my whole life is already on a countdown. The Ulai Tavern in Chinga City is the liveliest spot in town, packed with every kind of person imaginable. A pot of tea, please. Coming right up, sir. I'm huddled in the darkest corner of the first floor. The tea in front of me has sat untouched for half an hour. It's not that I don't want to drink it, I just don't dare pick up the cup. My hands are shaking so badly the tea keeps sloshing around, and most of it spills out. I've been staking out this spot for 2 days now, after intel led me to Chinga City where the target is. The Bear King's real name is Sang Biao. He's the local bully of Chinga City, and he eats here at this tavern every day at noon. My so-called stakeout is really just me hiding in a corner, secretly watching him. But the more I watch, the more hopeless it gets. Sang Biao is built like an iron tower, his arms thicker than my thighs. I've watched someone anger him with my own eyes. One slap sent the man flying into a wall. He died on the spot, in a gruesome mess. I don't stand a chance of assassinating him. My dull blade can't break his defenses, and even a fine sword wouldn't so much as scratch him. The system's countdown has less than 10 hours left. If I don't act now, the system is going to erase me. Either way, I'm dead, so I grit my teeth, ready to charge in and fight, hoping at best to take him down with me. But the fear inside me makes my hands and feet shake even harder. I take a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves with the tea. My hands jerk, and the whole cup spills onto the floor. It soaks the hem of my pants. I curse my own bad luck under my breath and resign myself to waiting for the waiter to clean it up. Right at that moment, loud, arrogant voices erupt at the tavern door. A hulking, tower-like figure shoves his way in. It's Sang Biao, the Bear King himself. He's in a great mood today, his face flushed with pleasure, as he barges in with his lackeys, demanding fine wine and pretty women. The Bear King has arrived. Everyone, out of the way! My heart leaps into my throat. Fear floods through me. I don't dare go anywhere near him. He's surrounded by guards, and I'd be struck down before I even got close. I curl up, terrified, wishing I could just crawl under the table. Up on the tavern's second floor, Willow sits by the window, her eyes fixed on everything happening below. She's here on the sect leader's orders, sent to watch this mysterious rookie who dared to accept a certain death mission. But after watching for 2 straight days, all I've done is sit here shaking over tea, without making a single move. Willow starts to feel disappointed, wondering if I'm just a reckless fool after all. Then, in the next instant, her pupils shrink. She stares hard at the spilled tea on the floor. That exact spot is right on Sang Biao's daily path. He always walks through there on his way to his usual seat upstairs. Willow is stunned. She's now certain I'm deviously calculating, and that 2 days of spacing out was really me mapping out every one of his habits. No blade, no sword. With nothing but a spilled cup of tea, I've set up a killing trap of staggering brilliance. Willow holds her breath, eyes locked on the floor below, not daring to look away for a second. Downstairs, Sang Biao curses and grumbles, shoving patrons out of his way, striding toward the staircase. He's just finished shaking someone down, and he's in a fantastic mood, completely oblivious to the puddle under his feet. His foot slips. He loses his balance, and his 300-pound frame crashes forward. Bang! His head slams straight into the table beside him, where a scalding pot of chili oil hot pot is sitting. The pot flips over, and the boiling oil pours all over him. Sang Biao lets out a horrific scream. Even a first-rate master's iron body is no match for scalding oil in the eyes. The agony sends him thrashing across the floor. But the real disaster is only just beginning. A drunk patron nearby, cradling a jar of strong liquor, gets knocked over by him. The jar shatters, dousing Sang Biao in liquor from head to toe. As he thrashes about, he knocks over an incense burner in the corner. Embers and ash scatter through the air, and a spark lands right on his liquor-soaked body. Flames erupt instantly, turning him into a living torch. "Help! Somebody help me!" He screams and stumbles around in a panic, lunging toward the window, trying to jump into the river to put himself out. Every guest in the tavern freezes in shock. The whole place descends into chaos. I'm frozen too, staring in disbelief, unable to believe what's happening in front of me. The Burning Man crashes through the window and plunges straight down from the second floor. Below, a candied hawthorn vendor happens to be passing by, his straw display bristling with sharp wooden skewers. The whole street goes dead silent. The skewers pierce straight through his neck. The flames haven't even died down before the life has already left his body. Not even a god could have saved him. Inside and outside the tavern, dead silence. Everyone stands frozen, jaws hanging open, staring at the bizarre scene. Watching from the shadows, Willow grips her sword hilt tight, her knuckles white, a shudder running through her whole body. She's certain this is a perfect convergence of heaven, earth, and man. This isn't an ordinary assassination. It's a killing carried out through the power of heaven and earth, through cause and effect. A kill with no form, no flash of a blade, not a drop of blood on his hands, not a trace of inner energy stirred. This is the highest realm an assassin can reach. She looks at me, trembling where I sit, and mistakes it for the exhaustion of a master spent from an epic scheme. Willow is shaken to her core, now convinced I'm a terrifyingly powerful master. The real me is just huddled in the corner, filled with nothing but fear. I only spilled a cup of tea. None of this actually has anything to do with me. Shaking, I make my way back to the pavilion's hideout. Everyone stares at me like I'm some kind of monster. The Bear King's bizarre death has already turned into legend. A first-rate master whom blades couldn't even touch was killed by tea, a hot pot, liquor, an incense burner, and a candy skewer. It's absurd beyond belief, and yet it really happened. And I'm the one who started it all. A frail weakling who can barely even walk straight. A furious roar shatters the silence. Scarface's face twists with envy, refusing to accept reality. No way. Absolutely no way. He's a nobody with zero inner energy. How could he possibly kill a first-rate master? He must have cheated, hired help, or used poison. He's worked up, unable to stomach the idea that the loser he's always looked down on just pulled off a job he himself would never dare touch. I refuse to accept this. Pavilion law is clear. Anyone who challenges a kill can sign a death waiver and duel for the truth. I challenge him to a duel. The word duel scares the soul right out of me. I wave my hands frantically, trying to refuse. I just want to concede, back down, and get away from this madman. I instinctively step back, my footing gives out, and I stumble off balance. As I stagger backward, the tip of my shoe catches a small pebble on the ground. The pebble shoots off at an impossibly precise angle and slams into a wasp nest under the eaves. The huge hornet's nest crashes down, and hundreds of furious wasps come pouring out. Scarface is still crowing, head tilted back, completely unaware of the deadly danger overhead. The enraged swarm surges down over him like a black storm cloud. What is that? An itch prickles across his face. He swats at it without thinking and enrages the wasps completely. A blood-curdling scream tears through the courtyard. Scarface is swallowed in a swirling cloud of wasps with nowhere to run. He thrashes his arms wildly, which only earns him more stings. A third-rate fighter's inner energy is no defense against a swarm that finds every gap. In the space of 3 breaths, Scarface collapses to the ground, his whole body swollen, foaming at the mouth, every inch of exposed skin studded with stingers, the life drained out of him, dead on the spot. The courtyard falls dead silent again. Everyone stands there, stunned, eyes flicking back and forth between the corpse and me. Maybe killing the Bear King was just luck, but this can't be a coincidence. A single backward step, one flicked pebble, and a swarm of wasps wipes out the man who challenged him. That kind of power is terrifying. The crowd sucks in a collective breath, hearts full of dread and awe. The branch master steps out from the inner hall, having watched the entire thing unfold. His eyes are wide with shock. A pebble as the trigger, the wind as the weapon. What a way to kill without ever drawing blood. Shu Qian's talent is beyond compare, his mind sharper than any demon's. Effective immediately, he's promoted to gold rank killer, equal in rank to a branch elder. The whole room erupts. A rookie jumping straight to gold rank. There's never been anything like it in pavilion history. I'm completely frozen, my mind a total blur, utterly lost. I just slipped and kicked a pebble. I have no idea why everyone's reading so much into it. Willow, from today on, you're relieved of rookie training duty. Stay by Shu Qian's side as his personal handmaiden, tending to his every need. Willow's heart sinks. She thinks for a second that she's being punished, but the branch master's order leaves her frozen in place. A gold rank instructor, demoted to a rookie's handmaiden. It looks like humiliation, but it's actually the opportunity of a lifetime. She reads the branch master's real meaning. He's letting her follow a killing god, to learn from a master at the very top of the art. Understood. She bows her head, her voice carrying a faint, barely noticeable tremor of excitement. I'm completely stunned, falling apart inside, wanting nothing more than to run. An ice-cold she-devil, as my handmaiden? One look from her and my legs turn to water. Every single day, together. I won't survive this. I open my mouth to refuse, but the branch master is already holding out a silver scroll. Shu Qian, you've just been promoted. There's a silver rank elite mission, one no one else in the pavilion dares to take. It's yours now. Target: the current Minister of Personnel, first rank official, Minister Walter. What? I hold the scroll, glancing at Willow, already settling into her role as my handmaiden, and a wave of suffocation crashes over me. I'm never going to survive a life like this. That night, I'm settled into a fine guest room. Willow doesn't leave my side for a second, attending to everything with meticulous care, making the bed, pouring the tea, utterly devoted, every bit the perfect handmaiden. I can't sit still, like there are pins stuck in my back, completely uncomfortable in my own skin. Ruyan, you don't need to bother. I can manage on my own. Willow says nothing. She silently prepares my bathwater, then stands quietly off to the side, waiting. My face burns red. I've never had a woman wait on me this closely before, let alone one who kills without blinking. I slowly peel off my outer robe. My body is pale and thin, without a trace of muscle, the textbook build of a frail scholar, an utterly ordinary man, with no martial foundation whatsoever. Willow's mind goes blank. Her whole worldview cracks apart. How could an ordinary man with no inner energy cut down a first-rate master and wipe out a third-rate fighter with a swarm of wasps? It defies every rule of martial arts. There's no rational explanation. A staggering thought rises in her mind, and it sends a shiver through her whole body. At the very peak of the martial path, a master transcends into sainthood. At that level, one no longer needs inner energy at all. Every gesture aligns naturally with the way of heaven. A single motion can move heaven and earth itself. This realm has a name, return to simplicity. She finally understands. He's not lacking inner energy at all. He's already moved far beyond it. A cup of spilled tea sets a killing trap. A single pebble wipes out a formidable foe. Both are the power of heaven itself. Every doubt she had is finally resolved. Willow looks at my back, her eyes brimming with fanatical devotion. Before, she thought being a handmaiden was a waste of her talent. Now she understands. This is a chance that comes once in a lifetime, to follow a supreme master who has achieved return to simplicity. Even pouring his tea is a blessing 3 lifetimes in the making. Willow is completely, utterly won over. She bows her head low, her voice turning soft as water. The sudden gentleness sends a shiver through me. I'm completely lost. I have no idea what absurd fantasy she's just cooked up in her head. The next morning I wake up gasping from a nightmare, drenched in cold sweat. In the dream I was gripping my dull blade, sneaking off to assassinate the Minister of Personnel, only to get tackled by a pack of hulking guards and dragged across the ground. In the end, the minister himself personally ordered me executed by 1,000 cuts. I bolt upright, drenched in sweat, my heart pounding. The instant I open my eyes, I find a cold, beautiful face hovering right in front of mine, barely an inch away. I let out a startled yelp and shoot straight up off the bed. What are you doing? I point at Willow, my voice shaking. Willow quietly pulls her gaze back. In her hands is a copper basin, steaming water inside. Young master, it's time to wash up. Her voice is as flat as ever, but there's something in her eyes, a faint, barely noticeable trace of scrutiny. It finally hits me. She's my personal handmaiden now. I scramble off the bed, grab the towel, and swipe it messily across my face, calling that good enough for washing up. Willow watches my frantic scrambling in silence. The young master truly has extraordinary self-control. After killing 2 men last night, he wakes without a trace of temper, not even the faintest hint of killing intent. That kind of perfect mastery over one's own presence. I've never heard of anything like it. That yelp of his just now looks like plain fright, but it must actually be some unique breathing technique, using a sudden jolt of shock to unlock the body's hidden potential. What a profound way to train. If I knew what was going through her head, I'd probably drop to my knees right then and there. Ruyan, I swear, you just startled me. That's it. Willow tidies the bed as she asks, in a tone that seems almost casual, young master, about this next mission. Minister Walter, what's the plan? She's hoping to glean from even a stray word of mine some fragment of the essence of the killing arts. In my head I'm screaming, but I don't dare say any of it out loud. I figured it out by now. In front of this crowd of assassins, the more you try to explain, the wilder their imaginations run. The best strategy is to look mysterious and say as little as possible. So I do my best impression of a wise old master from a TV drama, walk over to the window, hands clasped behind my back, gaze tilted 45 degrees up at the sky, and let out a soft sigh. The sigh is long and heavy, a genuine heartfelt sigh of despair. But to Willow's ears, it sounds like something drifting down from the ninth heaven, carrying meaning beyond measure. Willow's heart lurches. There's a legend inside the pavilion. When a killer has fully resolved to end a target, and has already seen the exact moment of their death, they let out a single sigh. It's a sigh for a life about to end. The opening note of a death sentence. The young master has already seen the minister's exact date of death, and it's only been one night since he took the job. Young master, Willow's voice trembles slightly. Minister Walter is a first-rank court official. His residence is heavily guarded. Rumor has it he keeps 2 masters at the peak of second rate on staff. An ordinary assassin couldn't even climb the wall, let alone get inside. She's trying to warn me. This target is a hard one. Hearing that, my heart sinks even further. Great, not only is the place a fortress, there are 2 peak second-rate masters guarding it too. How am I supposed to pull this off? I'm so stressed I instinctively reach up and rub my brow, a habit I picked up in my past life, back when writing papers made my hair fall out. But this most ordinary of gestures, seen through Willow's eyes, takes on a whole different meaning. As far as she's concerned, Minister Walter is already a dead man. Willow watches my thin, hunched back, the adoration in her eyes about to overflow. She takes a deep breath and bows deeply toward my back. Young master, there's no need to trouble yourself. Leave this kind of legwork, sneaking in to scout, to me. You just sit tight here and wait for the right moment. Before I can respond, she's already a blur, vanishing from the room like a ghost. I want to cry, but nothing comes out. I swear, my brain and everyone else's here are not operating on the same wavelength at all. Alone in the room, I fidget and wait for what feels like forever. Willow still hasn't come back. My stomach starts growling. I steel myself and step out of the room, hoping to find something to eat. The moment I step outside, I find the courtyard packed with people, assassins from the branch, every one of them. They all stare at me with wide-eyed reverence. The instant they see me, everyone bows their heads in unison and calls out with deep respect, "Greetings, Your Eminence." I flinch, badly startled, and nearly buckle at the knees again. "Hi, everyone." I give an awkward little wave. A quick-witted assassin scurries right up to me, bowing and nodding as he speaks. "My lord, are you ready to eat? It's already prepared." "Whatever you need, my lord. Just say the word. We'd give our lives without a second thought." "Yes, yes. Serving you, my lord, is our greatest honor." The same killers who sneered at me just yesterday are falling over themselves like a pack of bootlickers today. The whole scene leaves me completely unsettled. I eat something quickly, barely tasting it, then flee back to my room like I'm making a getaway. I get it now. In this godforsaken place, my reputation is completely locked in, an unfathomable godlike master of death. Nothing I say now will change anything. I have no choice but to ride this out to the end. System, are you there?" I call out to it silently in my head. "Player, I'm here. This mission, I have to be within 10 miles of the target for it to count, right?" "Correct, player. You must, within the mission's time limit, enter a radius of 10 miles centered on the target, where the law of causality takes effect. So if I just don't go, the mission fails automatically. Mission failure results in player termination. The tiny spark of hope in me gets snuffed out instantly. In other words, I have no choice but to go." "Correct, player." I drop into a chair, utterly done with life. Some absolute luck system this is, more like an absolute doom system. Right as I'm sighing my life away, the window rattles, and Willow slips back in. There's a faint whiff of blood on her, though it fades quickly. "Young master, I've scouted the place. Mr. Walter's residence is airtight, just as we feared." I slipped into the outer grounds and took out 3 hidden sentries, just to scrape together a bit of information. My heart nearly stops. "Ruyan, you just went and killed people?" Minister Walter is extremely cautious, as timid as a mouse. Everything he eats or wears passes through a dozen rounds of inspection. He keeps 3 renowned physicians on staff at all times. At the slightest discomfort, they're called in immediately. He never attends outside banquets, and rarely leaves the residence on his own. His only daily activity is in his own back garden. Willow finishes, then looks up at me, waiting for his oracle. As far as she's concerned, this intel is simply another piece for the young master's grand scheme. Hearing all this, I sink deeper into despair. Great, a total shut-in, and a severe paranoid to boot. A guy like that won't even have accidents happen to him, since he can barely be bothered to leave the house. How am I supposed to make him die accidentally? Understood. After a long, strained silence, that's all I can manage to say. The moment Willow hears those words, her eyes light up instantly. "Young master, when do we set out?" I glance at the countdown on the system's panel. Less than 40 hours left. If I keep stalling, I'm dead. There's no other way. I have to grit my teeth and go through with it. Tomorrow. Yes. Willow's eyes blaze with fighting spirit. She can't wait to witness with her own eyes just what earth-shattering method the young master will use to wipe out this court official hiding inside his shell. The next day, before dawn, Willow drags me straight out of bed. "Young master, it's time to go." I'm bleary-eyed, the picture of complete misery. I really don't want to do this. The Minister of Personnel's residence? What kind of place is that? One of the seats of power in the entire capital. The security's almost as tight as the palace itself. If a weakling like me shows up there and gets mistaken for a real assassin and cut down, that would be a truly pointless death. Rian, do we really have to go? Minister Walter never even leaves his residence, so what's the point? Young master, are you testing me? She takes a deep breath. Young master, you must have already seen through this. There are 3 tiers to the art of assassination. The lowest is a frontal assault, crude, the way of a brute. The middle tier is poison and ambush, a step below true mastery. But the path you've chosen is the highest strategy of all, weaving a plan out of the ordinary laws of cause and effect. With a scheme like that, you never have to set foot in danger yourself. You only need to align with the flow of heaven, earth, and fate, and the entire situation steadies itself around you. I just stand there blinking. This woman talks a better game than I do. This heaven and earth stuff she's talking about, isn't that just the system's activation range? How does she know about that? Does she have a system too? No, wait. I look into Willow's eyes, burning with fanatical light, and it clicks instantly. She's off imagining things again. We don't need to sneak into the residence. We only need to wait around it for the right moment. Our job is simply to find the perfect vantage point. I imagine you've already worked out through some calculation I couldn't possibly follow, that today is the exact moment for it to happen. I open my mouth, and nothing comes out. What am I even supposed to say? I can hardly tell her I only said tomorrow because the countdown's almost up and I'll die if I don't go, can I? I clear my throat, clasp my hands behind my back, and strike the wise master pose again. Since you understand, that's all that matters. I'll hold your teaching close, young master. I'll carry it out with everything I have and never let you down. Willow presses her fist to her palm, visibly moved, and just like that, the 2 of us set off. The branch even arranges, just for us, an unassuming carriage. I sit inside it, feeling like a prisoner being carted off to the execution ground, my heart lurching with every jolt. Willow, meanwhile, sits across from me, solemn-faced, eyes closed, as if meditating on the forces of heaven and earth. In reality, she's replaying over and over in her head my 2 previous strikes, a cup of tea, a pebble, such ordinary things, yet in the young master's hands they become lethal weapons. This time, the target is Minister Walter, a tiger hiding inside its own shell. What ordinary object will the young master turn into his instrument this time? Right now, I'm so nervous my palms are sweating. The carriage comes to a stop 2 streets away from the minister's residence. We can't get any closer, young master. Ahead is a restricted street, patrolled by the Imperial Guard. I lift the carriage curtain and peek out. In the distance stands a magnificent estate, 2 rows of armored soldiers stationed at the gate, archers pacing back and forth along its high walls. With defenses like that, forget a person. Not even a fly could get in. I whisper to Willow, let's just find somewhere nearby to sit tight. All I want right now is a tea house or an inn to hide in, as long as it's within the 10-mile range. But Willow just shakes her head. She hops down from the carriage, her sharp eyes scanning the surroundings. Young master, follow me. With that, she leads me into a narrow alley. I have no idea what's going on, and just force myself to keep up. Young master, this is the spot. Willow points up at the rooftop of a tavern. Up there? Why? This is the highest point, for miles around. The view is unmatched. From up here, we can see the entire back garden of the minister's estate laid out below us. Minister Walter spends every afternoon in that garden. From here, we can clearly watch his every move, and pinpoint exactly where he lives. My scalp prickles at the thought. Ruyen, you're actually serious about watching him? Weren't we just going to find somewhere to lie low? But how are we even supposed to get up there? I point at the smooth, sheer wall. This tavern's got to be at least 30 feet tall and I don't know any lightness skill. Willow glances at me, says nothing, just walks up in front of me, crouches down slightly, and pats her firm, toned shoulder. The meaning is unmistakable. She wants to carry me up on her back. My face flushes red. A grown man letting a young woman carry him on her back? How does that look? No, I couldn't possibly. Young master, we don't have time to waste. Willow's tone leaves no room for argument. I have no choice. I climb reluctantly onto her back. Her body is soft, carrying a faint, delicate fragrance, and it sends an odd flutter through my chest. Before I can dwell on it, I feel my whole body go light. With me on her back, Willow's foot barely grazes the wall, and the 2 of us drift up like a weightless leaf, silent, effortless, straight onto the 3rd-floor roof. The whole thing happens in the blink of an eye, steady as a mountain. I peek down over the edge of the roof, and my legs turn to jelly. It's so high up. Willow, meanwhile, is already all business. She pulls a small spyglass from her robe and hands it to me. I take it with shaking hands. Copying Willow, I lie flat behind the ridge of the roof, peering carefully toward the minister's residence. Through the spyglass, the garden comes into perfect focus. Pavilions, rockeries, flowing water, all arranged with exquisite taste. Young master, what do you see? Willow whispers beside me, her voice thick with anticipation. She wants to know what my all-seeing eye can find hidden in this seemingly peaceful garden, just how much danger it's really concealing. What do I see? I answer honestly. Just a fat old man in fancy official robes, surrounded by a crowd of maids and servants flying a kite in the garden. At that, Willow, her gaze sharpens. Flying a kite looks like harmless fun, but really, out in the open garden, he's kept far from anywhere a would-be assassin could hide, like rockeries or buildings. And with servants packed tightly around him, they form a human wall. Under these conditions, any attack launched from the ground couldn't possibly succeed. I scan the whole garden, and I don't spot a shred of danger anywhere. The weather's mild, the sun's out, birds are singing, flowers blooming. Aside from that fat old kite flyer being a bit of an eyesore, everything's perfectly peaceful. The wind's pretty strong today. That's all I can come up with, after racking my brain for something to say. There really is a decent breeze today, whistling through the roof tiles. But that one throwaway line hits Willow like a bolt of lightning. Wind. Of course. It's the wind. How did I not see it? Willow looks like she's just had a revelation. Minister Walter thinks he's perfectly safe out in the open. He's overlooked the one variable that matters most, the sweep of heaven and earth. Wind is an invisible force straight from the heavens. The young master already sees the whole board. He never confines himself to the shallow, worldly way of planning. From the very start, his eyes were set on the pattern of heaven and earth itself. He means to harness the endless winds of the world to work a scheme no one could ever predict. I understand now. You mean to use the wind? Suddenly, both of us hear a commotion break out below. Halt! Halt! Who goes there? Over there! Suspicious person sees him. My heart jumps. I lean over the roof's edge to look down, and see that at some point a few shady figures have appeared below the tavern, chased by a patrol of Imperial guards. Seize them! Uh-oh. The guard won't mistake us for their accomplices, will they? Startled, I go to pull my head back, when my foot suddenly slips. The roof tiles, worn down from years of neglect, were never all that secure to begin with. In my panic, I press down too hard, and one of the tiles shatters under my foot. Crash! I lose my balance completely, and slide right off the roof. A blood-curdling scream tears through the sky. Young master! Willow cries out, and without a second thought she leaps off after me. She reaches out to grab me, but I'm falling too fast. She only manages to catch the hem of my robe. Rip! The sound of fabric tearing. Willow's left holding nothing but a torn scrap of cloth, while I plummet like a dead weight, straight down toward the alley below. I squeeze my eyes shut, utterly resigned. I never imagined I wouldn't be killed by another assassin, or erased by the system, only to die from falling off a roof by accident. What a pathetic way to go. Thump. The agony I brace for never comes. Instead, whatever's under me feels soft, with a little give to it. I cautiously crack one eye open and find myself sprawled on top of a person. He's dressed in dark night clothes, his face masked, his eyes rolled back, foaming at the mouth, clearly on his way out. I'm okay. I blink, dazed for a second, then scramble off of him. Looking around, I see the alley strewn with several more men dressed the same way, and a squad of Imperial guards standing nearby, staring at me in complete bewilderment. The captain leading the guard looks from the man lying flat on the ground, my landing pad, to me, standing there without a scratch after dropping out of the sky, his jaw hanging open wide enough to fit an egg. What incredible skill, good sir. We were chasing down this gang of thieves and they're slippery. We lost them the second they ducked into this alley. Who could have guessed a mysterious hero would drop straight out of the sky and simply by landing knock their leader clean out cold? It takes the captain a long moment to squeeze that out. Justice, falling straight from the heavens. I'm just as baffled. I glance at the poor guy on the ground, then pat down my own arms and legs. Aside from a few tears in my clothes, I don't have a single scrape. I just slipped and fell is all. The captain gives me a look that says he doesn't believe a word of it. No need for modesty, good sir. Slipping off a 3-story rooftop and landing precisely on the ringleader's head, that kind of skill leaves us in awe. Right then, Willow drops silently into the alley. She glances at the thieves on the ground, then at me, standing there completely unharmed, and a flicker of understanding crosses her cold eyes. So that's how it is. Once again her mind churns. This wasn't an accidental slip at all. He exposed himself on purpose to draw the Imperial Guard here. He must have known these thieves would be hiding in this very alley. As for his own fall, that was a stroke of genius. Taking down the ringleader in an impossible way, while perfectly hiding the true extent of his power, leaving everyone convinced it was pure coincidence. Brilliant. Truly brilliant. Willow's admiration for me reaches an all-time high. If I knew what she was actually thinking, I'd be shouting to the heavens that it's not true, I really did just slip. Since the thieves have already been subdued, we won't trouble you two any further. With that, the captain hauls off the half-conscious thieves. One of them looks frail as a reed, yet drops out of the sky and takes down an enemy. The other moves like a ghost, cold as ice. Clearly, neither of them is ordinary. Best not to cross either one. Once the guard is gone, the alley is empty except for me and Willow. Willow bows respectfully. Young master, this ground has served its purpose. Now we simply wait for the right moment. I press a hand to my chest, still shaken, my legs still trembling. All I want is to get out of this cursed alley. Let's find somewhere else. This place is too dangerous. As you say, young master. Willow nods. This vantage point has already served its purpose. It's time to move on. As far as she sees it, every single one of my moves is deeply calculated. The whole point of the tavern rooftop was to lure out the thieves and the guard. Now that the goal's been met, it's naturally time to relocate. So Willow leads me instead to a tea house just across from the minister's estate. This time we don't climb up to the roof but take a window seat on the second floor. We can't see into the back garden from here, but we do have a clear view of the sky above the estate. I hold my teacup, hands still trembling. That fall really scared the life out of me. System, I nearly died from that fall just now. Can your precious luck system not protect me a little? Player's luck primarily governs the law of causality, mission targets, and incidental romantic fortune. For the player's own personal safety, it only provides a basic misfortune deflection effect, such as preventing you from tripping on flat ground or choking on your own tea. Low probability incidents. Just now you actively put yourself in a dangerous situation which exceeds the scope of basic protection. However, thanks to the passive effects of absolute luck, it still resolved itself favorably. So I get it now. In other words, if I go looking for trouble myself, the system won't save me. But because my luck is so good, there's always some poor sap around to break my fall. I let out another long sigh. Beside me, the moment Willow hears it, her whole body tenses. There it is again, the king of hell's sigh. She snaps her head up, eyes locking onto the sky outside the window. The young master has sighed again, which means the moment has arrived. At that very moment in the minister's back garden, Minister Walter is having the time of his life. Ha ha ha. Higher, higher. He tugs at the kite string in his hands, shouting with excitement. The wind is strong today, and his great rock kite is soaring higher than ever, almost out of sight. My lord, the wind's too strong. Perhaps we should reel it in. Afraid of what? This kite string cost me a fortune. Wild silk thread, bought from a merchant out of the western regions, woven through with diamond grit and iron wire. A little wind's nothing. You couldn't snap this thing with an ox. He's utterly confident in his precious kite string. Just as he's basking in his own smugness, the wind seems to pick up even more. A sudden gale sweeps through, out of nowhere, and the rock kite up in the sky starts thrashing wildly in the gust, swaying like it's drunk. My lord, let go quickly! The steward cries out. The force is too strong, yanking Minister Walter forward, stumbling him several steps. Walter panics too. He tries to let go, but the impossibly tough kite string, stretched taut, has wound itself tight around his wrist, and won't shake loose no matter what he does. Walter screams in terror. Several guards rush forward, trying to help him wrestle the string under control, but right at that moment disaster strikes without warning. A bolt of lightning splits the sky out of nowhere. Crack! A deafening boom. The bolt strikes with perfect precision, hitting high in the sky the unlucky kite itself. It bursts into flame instantly, turning into a ball of fire, and the terrible surge of electricity races down the iron-threaded kite string at lightning speed. A blinding flash of light engulfs Minister Walter, and beside him, the guard still gripping the string. None of them even manage a scream before their bodies char black and start smoking, and they drop to the ground, stiff as boards. The smell of charred, burnt flesh spreads through the garden. From the tea house, Willow and I both see the bolt of lightning split the sky. I just think quite plainly, why is it thundering out of a clear blue sky? But the instant Willow sees the lightning strike the kite, she goes completely rigid. Only two words remain in her mind: lightning strike. She whips her head around, looking at the man beside her the way one looks at a living god, the same man still fretting over his shaking hands, calling down lightning from the ninth heaven, harnessing the wind of heaven and earth, using a kite as the trigger, a thread as the conduit, to strike down a first-rank court official inside his own heavily guarded estate, in a single blow. Is this even something a human being could do? This isn't martial arts at all. This is divine magic, a supernatural power. Willow feels her own worldview shatter completely in that instant, only to reassemble itself in an even more incomprehensible shape. She looks at me, lips trembling, unable to get out a single word. As for me, I've finally finished my cup of tea. I set it down, and look out the window at the corpse, already burned to a crisp, and the snapped kite string beside it. My mind is a complete blur. Minister Walter just got struck by lightning. That has nothing to do with me, right? I just sat here and drank a cup of tea. The news that the Minister of Personnel was struck dead by lightning in his own back garden spreads like it's grown wings. Within half an hour, the whole capital knows. The court and the streets alike are shaken. Everyone's on edge. Some say Walter did too much evil in his life, and heaven finally punished him for it. Some say an enemy used some dark forbidden curse to kill him. Others swear, hand on heart, that they saw with their own eyes a dragon coiling through the clouds, hurling down a bolt of divine lightning to claim Walter's life. In short, every story imaginable is going around, but not a single person connects any of it to an assassination. Don't be ridiculous. What assassin can control lightning? When Willow and I get back to the pavilion's secret outpost in the capital, the welcome waiting for us is even more over the top than last time. The branch master himself leads every gold-rank killer to stand at the gate to greet us. The moment I step down from the carriage, everyone, the branch master included, drops to one knee in unison. Welcome back in triumph, my lord. Their voices ring out as one, brimming with genuine awe and fervor. The scene rattles me so badly my knees buckle, and I nearly drop to the ground myself. Luckily, Willow reacts fast and catches me before I fall. I'm numb to it by now. What else can I even say? All I can do is give a stiff, awkward nod and let the crowd sweep me inside. My lord, you truly are a god among men, calling down lightning from the ninth heaven to wipe out a villain. Such a method has never been heard of, never been witnessed. We're utterly, completely in awe. The sect leader has already sent word. For an achievement this monumental, you're promoted to the pavilion's top secret agent, equal in rank to a grand elder. You're granted 10,000 taels of gold, 10 beautiful women, and a mansion here in the capital. And on top of that, the sect leader also says, since Willow has served you well, she now belongs to you, permanently. 10,000 taels of gold, 10 beautiful women, a mansion. None of it registers with me. I only heard the last line, this female assassin belongs to me now. I sneak a glance at Willow beside me. Her head is bowed, her expression hidden, but the faint blush creeping up the tips of her ears gives away just how unsettled she is. What's going through her mind is this: getting to follow the young master forever, witnessing this godlike art of killing firsthand, is the greatest honor of her entire life. I'm doomed. I can't shake off this walking iceberg now. How am I ever supposed to make a run for it? Back in my room, I collapse into a chair feeling utterly drained, like a duck roasting on a spit, unable to climb off no matter how badly I want to. Willow pours me a cup of hot tea and asks gently, young master, what's on your mind? Ever since the lightning incident, her attitude toward me has shifted from plain reverence into something closer to religious devotion. As far as she's concerned, I'm not even human anymore. I'm a god. I stare at the tea leaves floating in my cup and say in a distant voice, when is any of this ever going to end? I'm so tired of living on edge every single day, being worshipped like some kind of god. I just want to be an ordinary lazy nobody. When will this end? The young master's words sound like a simple sigh, but they're really the opening move of a much larger scheme. Willow's heart lurches. A daring theory forms in her mind. The young master has taken down both the Bear King and the Minister of Personnel. One, a warlord of the underworld, the other, a pillar of the court. The two men seem to have nothing in common, but both, it turns out, trace back to the same figure, the Crown Prince himself. The Bear King was a power the Crown Prince backed in the underworld, and Minister Walter was a pillar of his faction at court. The young master has cut off the Crown Prince's right and left hands, one after another. Could his real target be? Willow doesn't dare finish the thought. She sucks in a sharp breath, her eyes wide with horror as she looks at me. The young master isn't just carrying out contracts. He's shaking the very foundation of the empire, single-handedly. He means to overthrow the entire dynasty. That's why he asked when it would all end, because his true goal is the throne itself. Until he claims it, none of this will ever stop. Once she realizes this, Willow looks at my face, delicate features carrying the weight of the world, and feels nothing but endless awe. Willow suddenly drops to one knee, her eyes burning with resolve. No matter how dangerous the road ahead, I will follow you to the very end, young master. May you achieve your great ambition. What great ambition? My biggest dream is one full night of decent sleep. This woman's off imagining who knows what kind of nonsense again. Before I can ask her about it, there's a knock at the door. My lord, the sect leader requests your presence. Which sect leader? The branch master? The grand sect leader. Willow answers for me. My stomach drops. The grand sect leader happens to be passing through. He's heard of your deeds and specifically wants to meet you. I freeze for a long moment, unable to think of a single way out of this alive. Even the biggest boss in the pavilion has taken notice. That's it. I'm finished. With Willow escorting me, I make my way, heart pounding, to a forbidden chamber. A gaunt old man in a gray robe, looking like nothing more than an ordinary farmer, sits cross-legged on a cushion. He looks utterly unremarkable. But the moment I step through the door, I feel an invisible weight press down on me, so heavy I can barely breathe. This is the grand sect leader of the Netherworld Pavilion, an old monster whose depths I cannot begin to fathom. The old man opens his eyes. They're clouded, yet unfathomably deep, as if they could see straight through to my soul. You're Shu Qian. Yes, sir, Shu Qian. Greetings, Grand Sect Leader. I force myself to bow. The Grand Sect Leader says nothing, just watches me in silence. Every second stretches on forever. The air in the chamber grows heavier and heavier. I can feel my back soaking through my robe with sweat. Only one thought runs through my head. I'm done for. This old master must have already seen right through me. Must already know how shallow my foundation really is, how none of this reputation is deserved. Just as I'm about to break, the Grand Sect Leader finally speaks. Not bad. His voice is hoarse and low. Return to simplicity. The great way is simple. Good. Very good. What is it with this return to simplicity thing again? Does the entire Netherworld Pavilion go through some kind of standardized script training I have cultivated for an entire lifetime? I dare say I've reached the Grandmaster realm myself, and yet I still cannot see through you. There isn't a trace of a martial artist's aura about you, and yet you accomplish feats no mortal or spirit could explain. That kind of realm, even I fall short of it. Please stop imagining things. For the Netherworld Pavilion to have a talent like you is the pavilion's greatest fortune. The Grand Sect Leader rises to his feet, walks over to me, and claps a hand on my shoulder. From this day forward, your standing is equal to mine. Every resource in the pavilion is yours to command. I ask only one thing in return. My chest tightens. Please go ahead. Kill someone for me. A flicker of bone-deep hatred crosses the Grand Sect Leader's eyes. He's my own senior martial brother, and today's leader of the entire martial world, Roland, the Sword Saint.